in our comings and goings, there have been several family members, friends in the community that have noticed what we're doing, how the children have grown, the changes that it has made in them, and then also how it's been there in the States and how they've been suffering and the things that they've been having to go through in the nation. And they're just like, how could we do what you're doing? And that came to me, maybe I would say in one trip, maybe 4 times. And I said, you know what, this is a need. And I need to be able to offer the system that I set up for my own children to other families. And so that gave birth to the Sankofa program that I'm presenting to you today. So what is the Sankofa program? The Sankofa program is a program sponsored by my nonprofit, which is Naziafah Spiritual Institute. And what that is a study abroad program where the African American child can come here to Africa, specifically Benin, and get their formal education, as well as get their family education, spiritual knowledge, knowledge of self, history, culture, and traditions of Africa. Essentially, the Sankofa program will help our children return to their African consciousness, or keep awaken their African consciousness. The goal is, personally, for me, what I strive for my own children, is to have them learn their knowledge of self sooner than I did. My goal is to try to eliminate as much as possible the blemish on our ancestry, on our future generations, that the transatlantic slave trade has caused. And so there's things not only like cultural and psychological paradigm shifts that I'm focused on with them being fully submerged in the Sankofa program, but also learning their traditional languages. So the kids, in addition to French, which is the common marketplace or colonized language, the kids are exposed to Yoruba. They're also exposed to Fon and Mina, which are the 2 languages of Benin. So within this program, it's raising our children to be leaders, raising our children to have true knowledge of self, and to know their spiritual personalities and their culture young, so that they can grow up sound, fulfill their destiny, and have everything that they need. So that's essentially the Sankofa program. Some of the essentials that's good to know on the spiritual side is that the children will learn at the temple, which I found out later was the original form of education. The education originally in Africa, in our African traditions, was to teach at the temples and the convents. And so we are going to return to traditions and having our children get their education, spiritual education, family education, all of that in the temple. So some of the things specifically they will be learning is, of course, the traditional value in education. They will also get the plant botany, get taught how the different indigenous plants, how to heal with plant medicine. That is something that they will be learning, in addition to the education of just the organic science of the plant medicine, how to use it, how to treat it, what it heals. They will also learn the spiritual side. So what is the deity for this plant? What are the natural elements to this plant? What are some of the spiritual offerings and things that need to be done when using this plant? So they'll get both sides, which is an education that's initiatic and has not been given. At least a program like this, I don't know of, is possible in the States. In addition to the plant medicine and botany, the children will also be learning their Fa. Not only their personal personality, but they will be learning all of the Fa. We use that as a history guide for the children, in addition to giving practical knowledge of our ancestry, knowledge of self. It also tells our history. It gives our wisdoms. It gives our guide, honestly. In addition to those three main things, the children will also learn traditional dance, traditional art forms, painting styles, all of these things, how to create clothes, make their costumes. All of these things will be a part of the education that they learn within the program. Another interesting part of the program that I would like to highlight is that in addition to children coming to Africa to learn, we will also have one parent or house teacher that will come, and that house teacher or house mom or house parent will be if not one of the children's parents, it will be a teacher, a credentialed teacher or skilled professional to come and not only be the house parent in the house, but also to teach the children their profession, skill, or craft for that particular semester. 3-month period that the teacher would be there, they would have a project for the kids and teach them that skill and develop that project by the end of that time. So it's a fun, creative way to mix the modern with the traditional, keeping the traditional in the forefront. That teacher will also have an opportunity to work with the kids at the temple in the village and teach them as well, and learn and see the land here in Benin. So that, in a nutshell, is the Sankofa program. Thank you for listening. Right now, we'll finish the discussion and you'll see all of the teachers, the schools, and the support systems that I've had over the last 2 years that I now open up to you. I've been coming back and forth to Africa for about 10 years, wanting to know more of my culture, my roots, and my heritage. In my travels back and forth to Africa, I initiated into Voodoo. And my home temple is here in Benin, in Alada, about 1 hour from Cotonou, where we are today. In my evolution, or paradigm shift, as I like to call it, one of the things I became aware of early on was that I could no longer allow the systems to educate my child. And so I became a homeschooling parent. Back in America, there is a growing population of families that are growing tired of the culture there, of the abuse against our people, the killings, the targeting, the food, air, and water pollution, not to mention the crime, and just all of the things that we suffer from there as Africans in America. We are at the bottom, and we are realizing that the culture that we have been given is not conducive for us.